on, guys and gals? Welcome to Goodwill Hunting, and welcome to today's video. We're going to be giving you our top 5 horror movies from 2011. If you saw last week, we did top 5 horror movies of 2010. Obviously, next week's going to be 2012, and so on. And if you're a member of Patreon/YouTube members, you're going to be seeing our top 5 horror movie or top 5 non-horror movies from each year as well on those platforms. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'm excited to get in today's list. This is probably my weakest one of the decade, Birdie. I think this was the one that I was like, I'm really kind of reaching to put some movies in my top 5 here, at least on the horror side.
No, definitely agree with you. This is definitely the weakest one. I kind of had to cheat a little bit and put a movie that had a U.S. theater release in 2013. Instead, I have to do like the original creation of this movie of 2011. So, but that's the main reason because this, I agree with you. This is definitely the weakest year within the 2010s. So before we even begin, I'll hear this theory. If I think hard enough, the previous video is going to be right above my head.
I hope it works, man. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Holy crap, it actually does work, hopefully. But if not, you could go back and watch it. And of course, before we even begin to tackle the 2011 for horror movies, what are some of your all's favorite movies from the year 2011 for horror? Let us know in that comment section down below. And from my understanding, we got no honorable mentions, so let's get down to the nitty gritty. Brad, what is your number 5?
I had one honorable mention because I almost had it in my top 5.
Apologies.
No, it's cool. I almost had it in my top 5. It's really not that great of a movie, but it was Straw Dogs. I remember it being pretty epic.
I remember that.
Remember, damn, freaking what's his name? Skarsgård Alexander was in there, man. He got fucked up. But yeah, it was. For some reason, I just, I remember when it came out, I saw it. It was interesting. I don't think I've seen it once since, but either way, we just wanted to mention it.
But I remember the chick. I remember the chick that had like the different color eyes said too. Like she's kind of weird. But since you mentioned honorable mention, let me throw one out real quick. Is the Thing prequel? Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She is freaking incredible. CGI, not so much. It's just pretty much. It is what it is. It's the prequel for John Carpenter's The Thing, to let you all know what happened in the madness before the real madness happened.
Yeah, man. And here we go. I'm going to kick off the top 5. And this is going to be the theme of the week, man. It's going to be like sequels and shit. And it's just because it seems like that's all that came out this year. And number 5 for me is Paranormal Activity 3. And I really didn't want to put that up there, but it's like, what else am I going to put there? I actually thought it was a decent sequel. I thought it was a decent movie. It was scary. I remember when it came out. I liked it, I used to like these movies a lot more than I like them now. But for whatever reason, the third one was just interesting with the two sisters and stuff. And then their buddy Tony running around and like the chicks jumping off the balcony and stuff like the little girl was. And they played Bloody Mary. Like there's some things that stood out about it. I like the setting being in the 90s. I like that. It was kind of cool, but yeah, it just, I thought for what it was a decent movie, but there just wasn't anything else to put up here, man, at the end of the day. So there it is at number 5, Paranormal Activity 3.
Alrighty. Definitely with you, though. These first two, it's just like they're there just to be there in a way. So my number 5, Final Destination 5. Or as I believe it's just called The Final Destination. But come on, guys, it's Final Destination 5. Like, what are we doing here, Hollywood? But this one definitely surprises a lot of people. Everybody thought at first watching this movie it wasn't going to be that great or that good, but it actually turned out surprisingly just to be a fun time. It definitely has some unique kills in it, and of course, the third act when they do a major reveal of something, that was a nice oh shit kind of moment. So yeah. Without that moment, definitely this movie would not be in the top 5, but that moment alone is worthy enough to be at number 5. So my number 5 is Final Destination 5, or The Final Destination.
Wasn't it the fourth one they called The Final Destination?
Dude, they fucked it
that
up
one
so
fucking
bad.
sucked.
Why not just keep on calling it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That's why I just personally call it Final Destination 5.
Well, I thought this one did come back to the 5 title. I thought the fourth one did the fuck up shit, but the fourth one sucked ass. The fourth one sucked a lot of it.
Hopefully they fix it when they do Final Destination 6.
Either way, this one actually is my number 4 too, Final Destination 5, because it didn't have our boy Packard from The Office at the beginning, and he gets that acupuncture. Either way, the opening kill in this movie at the bridge sequence, I thought there's some CGI and shit in there, but I thought overall it was pretty effective. It was better than NASCAR shit from the last one. It was definitely a step in the right direction. And yeah, the overall the characters were good enough. They were all pretty, somewhat enjoyable. There were some good kills in there throughout, and the ending, like you said, the little twist they had at the end was really cool. So, yeah, so I'd give you Final Destination 5 for my number 4 as well. So yeah, give me that.
Alrighty, and I'm gonna go ahead and take your number 5, my friend. My number 4 is Paranormal Activity 3. Pretty much for all the things that you said. Definitely does a good job. Like I like they did bring it back to the 90s too, because we kind of grew up in the 90s, so it's nostalgia for us. But I definitely think they do some of the best out of the 3 movies at this point that they did for Paranormal Activity. I think this one they did a really nice job with like the camera work and like really producing the scares in this one. So definitely effective for me. So my number 4 is Paranormal Activity 3.
That's a good one, man. Number 3 for me, we're gonna hit another sequel. It's gonna be a Scream 4. So far we've had a 4th movie in the franchise, a 5th movie in the franchise, and a 3rd movie, but they've all not been number 5, 4, and 3 respectively for me. They've all been opposites. But yeah, Scream 4. Again, it's not necessarily a movie that would have made my top 5 in any other year, but it's just like, I needed to put it in here. It was still a very solid sequel. Obviously the main characters come back and they're like the main protagonists in this movie. It's honestly like one of the weaker movies in the Scream franchise for me, but I still, compared to some of these other movies this year, it was still really solid. Always seeing Nev kicking a little bit of ass. It's always a fun time. So give me that. I'll take Scream 4 here at number 3.
Dude, that's a very excellent pick because that's also my number 3 is Scream 4. Here's the deal, guys. I like every Scream movie that will ever exist just because I love Ghostface so much, and it's definitely one of my favorite franchises. But I'm with Brad. If we're gonna do like our ranking of the Scream franchise, definitely number 4 will be at the bottom tier of that, whether it be 3 or 4 in my opinion. But I still like 4. Of course, the main thing I get from Scream 4 is my girl Kirby, who is an excellent character. I wish they did more with her. So I was glad they brought her back for Scream 6 because she was a missed opportunity of a character. And they finally did something right with her. And I thought she was very entertaining in this one. Just what holds this one back for me, I'm not sure what kind of lighting or editing that they use to make the dark look like freaking as pretty much near black at a point, like black blood, and it's kind of weird. And it's just like the whole Anthony Perkins officer going like fuck Bruce Willis. It's kind of too cheesy at times. So my number 3 is Scream 4.
Yeah, dude, that's a good spot for it, man. Number 2 for me, man. We're gonna be done with the sequels, and we're going to Cabin in the Woods. This is one of the great horror comedies of the decade. And, seeing Chris Hemsworth in here, just fucking seeing us on the other side is still one of my favorite comedic moments in a horror movie that I've seen. If we did a horror award of the decade, this might win that award for sure.
Easily.
For the funniest moment, because it's just fucking, I'll see you on the other side, my brother. And he fucking hits that damn wall, dude. That's great, but the whole movie's entertaining, man. There's some great characters in there, some goofy people. It all works really well. It takes, when I saw the trailer for this, I didn't even want to see it. I was like, this looks super generic. It's going to suck ass. It's going to be your everyday Cabin in the Woods. But no, they turned everything upside down, man, and they made it really entertaining. Did some fun stuff with it. So, yeah, Cabin in the Woods, man.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and continue down along with my number 2 being The Cabin in the Woods as well. Like you, Brad, I watched the trailer and kind of thought the same, oh, this is just every other Cabin in the Woods type horror movie. And then when I watched it and that first opening scene happens, I'm like, did I even play the right movie? And then once they played the title card and all that, I'm like, oh boy, aren't we in for a freaking fun ride, man? And that's what this movie is. It's just a fun ride. Again, if you're a fan of the horror genre, you will understand a lot of the jokes. And of course, this movie has definitely one of the most paused moments of all time with the whiteboard with all the challenges or the predictions. And of course, it's how could you not love, he had the conch in his hand. I know, man. I know you want to see that merman so bad. But trust me, we get merman in this movie. And then, of course, I want to mention this character because I think this is one of the most underrated characters in horror movie history. It's our boy freaking Marty. Puppets, man. I'm not going to be a puppet. I'm gonna walk outside. Like he's freaking hilarious, man. I love Marty to death, and I love this movie. And it's always a fun time for me, and I actually like it within each watch. So my number 2 is The Cabin in the Woods.
Oh yeah, dude. I have a feeling we're probably gonna have the same number 1 based on that clue you peppered in earlier.
A clue, a clue, a clue.
But number 1 for me, man, it's your next. This is that movie that really sets us up. Yeah, Bert, you know, let's let Bert talk about it. He's got the 2 posters behind his head.
Yeah, one of them you actually got for me, you son of a bitch, and I love it.
Do you know which one I got you? Yeah, dude, I think that's right. You did
dude,
it.
You're my best friend. I got you. But yes, this is the one I was cheating on because it had a theater release in the year of 2013, but that was because Lionsgate picked it up and released in the theaters. But this movie was actually created and had a soft like fan film festival release in 2011. So that's why I'm putting it in there, because I don't want it to go up against a certain movie in the year of 2013. So that's why you're next. It's in 2011 for me, my number 1. And how can you not love this movie? This is my all-time favorite house invasion movie, and this is actually the horror movie that made me a believer that there can be that indeed badass final girl that fights back versus, you know, being the damsel in distress or being the Alice with the lucky swing or throwing the ball of yarn or sleeping when people are getting killed at camp. Sorry, Alice tangent real quick. But our gore
for her.
Oh, lucky. But man, Erin Foe in this movie, The Final Girl, absolutely a badass. She goes all Rambo all on her victims. And not only that, you could even, like, in this movie, it's a dark comedy as well. So it does have its funny moments. And our feelings in this movie with the cool animal mask, it's just so unique. It's so cool. More importantly, it's more memorable. But I'm going to let Brad tackle some things. I could keep going. I could do this all day. So my number 1 is your next from 2011.
Yeah, man, I think you wrapped it all up, man. I just love the vibe of the movie. Aaron's fantastic. I mean, I love the music, looking for the magic, you know, playing that on repeat. You know, it's just, you know, it was one of those that just, you know, it took you on a ride, and you know, you just didn't know exactly what was going to happen once everything kind of started hitting the fan. But then Aaron let you know real quick exactly how things were going to go. She's going to take care of business, and she let it be known. So I love it. It's, you know, it's great.
Dude, absolutely is great. So you know what is next? It will be our next video would be horror movies from the year of 2012. But before we get to 2012, I gotta ask you guys, what did you think about our top 5 from the year of 2011 in horror movies? Did we get our list correct, or are there some movies that we totally forgot about that we need to add into our top 5? Let us know in the comment section down below so we can that discussion rolling.
Yeah, and if you want to help us find the good reels, you can do so by finding us on our socials down below. They're all down there for you. So go down there and take a look. Patreon's down there as well, if you feel like taking a little gander so you can see those non-horror videos that'll be coming out.
Yeah, and be the official backbone of this channel when you become a Patreon or a YouTube membership member. Oh man, what am I kidding? I'm so excited for the next year. So we're going to go ahead and advance to the next year. So we will see you all for the year 2012 for horror movies.